Welcome into the Fantasy Advantage, where I'm giving you the advantage in fantasy football. We're doing start sits again this week. Last week I did a lot of them. I'm trying to mitigate it down to a few less, less of them, more of the some of my favorite start sits of the week instead of doing a whole list of a bunch of players. But you can ask me if I don't cover something you want. You can ask me down in the comments down below, or I'm going to put my Twitter up here and you can go follow it. I'll also link it down below. You can go follow me on there, or just shoot me just shoot me a question on there, who you want me to answer your start questions for. Last week, through the ton of them that I did, my hit rate was pretty good. It was about a little more than a 60% on both starts and sits, with about 3 players that were kind of right in the middle. So a little more than 60% if you give me like half a point for those guys. So yeah, I think that whittling it down to like the guys that I really like the most or really like the least, who I really foresee being a great start versus a bad start, I think is going to be better and be a better output. But if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments or follow me on Twitter and ask me there. So let's get right into this. First start of the week. Wide receiver DK Metcalf versus the Patriots. Look, they have the sixth worst. I keep screwing that up. They have the 6th worst total defense in the league and are dead last against the pass, giving up 313 yards a game. Their running defense is top 3. So I do feel like the defense is going to really punish the run game of the Steelers, which has been okay so far, but Jaylen Warren's been leading it. Caleb Johnson hasn't done much. Gainwell hasn't done a lot yet. I think that they're going to have to rely on Rodgers to throw the ball, and clearly they allow pass yards. So DK Metcalf, I think this is a week that he finally kind of has a big week. He gets actually a lot of catches, a lot of yards, and a lot of touchdowns. So he is the guy that I'm going to take as a main start for this week. Another player is Hollywood Brown. He's playing the Giants. He had a bad week last week, right? I know it wasn't super great after the first week he had, but he was playing an Eagles defense, and it was clearly suffocating the Pats offense. Pat Mahomes. They have their number. The Eagles just know how to stop them. And this week, Hollywood's playing a much different team in the Giants in their kind of weak pass defense. The 3rd worst in the league, actually. So he's still clearly the guy for Mahomes. He's going to get passes. He's going to, I say he gets in the end zone this week for sure. Also, Worthy, I know some people are concerned because Worthy's going to come back. Look, he's hurt. Okay, the shoulder's not good. Even if he plays, I think he's mostly a decoy. He's not going to get a ton of work. If he plays, he's not getting a ton of work. They don't want to re-injure him. They want him on the field. I think that, like I said, at best case, he's a decoy. So Hollywood Brown, good start this week. Going to running backs. First one I'm going to start with, and he's going to be my smash play of the week. Last week was James Conner. The week before that was Keon Coleman. James Conner was still good, just not great. He didn't lose either week. I expected more out of him last week. That game was kind of weird. Like the second half, the Cardinals offense just did nothing, and the Panthers started coming back. So I feel like if that momentum hadn't changed like that, Conner probably has a better week. But anyway, smash play of the week, Javonte Williams versus the Bears. Honestly, you could probably play the entire Dallas offense. That Bears defense is bottom 5 in everything, in like literally every category. And Javonte Williams has been like a focal point of the Dallas offense. As a Dallas fan, I watch the games. I know what I'm talking about. All right. Javonte Williams the revival's awesome. It's been so fun to watch, especially when it's for your team, but it's been really fun to watch. I'm really happy for him. He looks a lot better. People were skeptical after the first game, me included, but he clearly showed he's fine. He's gonna get the lion's share of touches in the backfield. They throw to him as well. They love going to him at the goal line, red zone area. He's going to be really awesome this year. I mean, currently he's fourth. He's the RB4 in PPR and 3.5, and that's after James Cook played last night. So he's definitely he's in the top 3 right now. So I think it keeps on rolling and he keeps smashing. We're getting to a point where this might not have to be a call anymore, because I do these to call players that you might be on the fence about, like your flex play, your wide receiver 2 position 3, just players that you're actually thinking about, not guys that are auto starts. So he might become an auto start, especially if he explodes again this week. I think he's out of this category from now on, but he is my smash start of the week. Play him. Another guy I want to throw in here is Cam Scatterbo versus the Chiefs. He's a really sneaky good start, and here's why. Chiefs D is very good, right? They have a very good defense, and people think their run defense is very good, and I don't think it's a bad run D, but it's actually middle of the pack. And that is including the game against the Chargers, who the Chargers run offense is odd. It feels like they don't really have one. I believe Herbert was a leading rusher in that game, that opening night. So Cam Scatterbo proved that he deserves the reps, which I've been saying all off season. Thank you. He's proved he deserves the reps. He played very well last week. He's also a guy who gets targeted and can catch the ball. He's a very good pass catcher. They're going to be passing the ball a bit. I'm sure they're going to be playing from behind most of the game. I believe that Cam Scatterbo, and when they get close, he's the guy they're going to. If they're within that 5-yard line, like, he's getting the ball, they're going to put him in the end zone. Cam Scatterbo is the guy to start in that backfield, and I think that he brings it again this week and shows that he's worth being a starter in this league. On to quarterback. Aaron Rodgers versus the Patriots. He's looking like he's got his rhythm back in Pittsburgh. And like I mentioned with DK, the Pats D is the worst in yards by far. They don't give up too many touchdowns. I think it's only 3 or 4 right now, but they give up most of the yards. Aaron Rodgers is going to exploit that. He knows that. He knows what he's got to do. He's been around the league for a long time. The Steelers defense also not being good at all for some weird reason. It is the highest paid defense through contracts, and they are not doing so hot. It's not good. With that situation and Drake May maybe finding his confidence and finding his groove after last week, I believe that this ends up being a fairly high scoring game. And with a lot of offense, Aaron Rodgers is going to be throwing the ball a lot. DK Metcalf, Calvin Austin, he probably breaks one. I think Aaron Rodgers has a good week, throws for 250 and 2 to 3 touchdowns. So, give me Aaron Rodgers to start this week. Jared Goff also, just real quick, this is just a fast. Jared Goff against the Baltimore secondary. They're a liability right now. The Lions have found their offensive groove. I think he should be a home run this week. He's going to do really good things for your team this week. He has another 25 plus point game, because that will also probably be high scoring. Okay, tight end. Harold Fannin versus the Packers. I know this one seems odd, right? The Packers defense is obviously one of the best in the league, but they're bottom 5 against tight ends in fantasy. It's probably going to be the only good start for the Browns offense. But I think because of the 1 weak spot in that the Packers defense is against tight ends, they give up touchdowns and a decent amount of yards to tight ends. I believe that Harold Fannin is actually going to have a really good week. I'm in a predicament because I have Zach Ertz, who I just picked up off waivers for 30 fab, and I'm starting him, but there's a part of, because Mariota leans on tight ends, but I also have Fannin, and I'm in this weird spot of what do I do? But I'm starting to lean Fannin. I think his situation's going to be the best one, but we'll see. But yes, Harold Fannin is why I picked him here. Now, on to the sits. The one that everybody doesn't like. I'm going to start with what might be considered a fairly obvious one. It's the Eagles wide receivers. The Rams are going to be probably the best defense that the Eagles have played this week. It's going to be the best defense, I think. And their wide receivers are not going to succeed. It's the pass game for the Eagles is just, it's in shambles, man. Like, it's clearly not going well. Something's up. I don't know if it's scheming. I don't know if it's just Hurts and he hasn't got his rhythm yet, or like him and the receivers are not on the same page. If they're really just focusing extremely hard on the run game, like I said they were going to in the offseason, and said to be low on AJ Brown. Yes, this is why. I had a feeling this might be what happens. They won this way last year. They're going to really enforce that run this season as well. The pass game just doesn't look the same at all. Jalen Hurts isn't a great passing quarterback anyway. There was a big breakdown video I watched on that. Anyway, yeah, Rams defense going to be a problem for the Eagles. It's the best team that they've faced this year, and it's a very in-your-face defense and doesn't let you get much. So I think I call the Eagles to lose this game. I think the wide receivers don't have a good game. Sit both of them. Next is Cooper Kupp versus the Saints. He had a decent game last week against a not-so-decent defense. Horton got in there, got a big play, got a touchdown, and I think that will get him a little bit more playing time, a little bit more attention from Sam Darnold, and incorporating him into the offense. And the Saints D is better than people give them credit for. They aren't a bad defense. Their offense has been struggling a bit, but there's bright spots. Rattlers actually quietly looked really good in decision making and things. So that should improve, but the defense isn't that bad. I would say for that wide receiver core, though, the only good start would be JSN. I'm not trusting Horton yet. I have a lot of shares of him in Dynasty. I'm not starting him yet. I'm not saying Kupp won't play. I just think that this week it's a bad call to play him. There's gonna be a ton of Ken Walker and a ton of JSN, and I think Cooper Kupp has a quieter week. Running backs, sort of went over this. It's gonna be everyone on the Browns offense essentially, but the big one is Quinshon Judkins. You could probably sit again, literally everyone on the Browns, but except for Fannin. And I know everyone's excited for Judkins. No one more than me, man. He's like one of the guys I got a ton of in Dynasty this year. He's really great. He showed last week that he belongs in the league. He had that crazy highlight run. Like, that's what he's gonna do on this team. Problem is, he's gonna have a really tough week against those Packers. They have the second best rush defense, allowing only 48.5 yards a game, and they haven't allowed a touchdown yet. I hope that I'm wrong. I I want Judkins to succeed. This isn't something I'm wishing. I hope he proves me wrong this week, because if he does, he's going to look so awesome for the rest of the week or rest of the season against this defense. But odds aren't very likely. That defense is stifling. They don't allow the run. I think this is a tough week to start him, so he stays on the bench for the week. And really quick, another just super fast Pacheco. Isaiah Pacheco. Just stop playing him until he proves he can start again. I think that Brashard Smith is going to get more work this week and as the season rolls on, because the run game's just not working, so they're going to try something. Pacheco, unfortunately, looks like he's falling off. Doesn't look good. No Pacheco. All right, quarterback. Sort of Eagles. Yeah, people are going to call me an Eagles hater this week, I think, but it's Jalen Hurts. Again, best defense that they've seen so far this year. And without the pass game, Hurts is having some struggle issues. He got away with some scrambles for touchdowns against Dallas. That saved his week 100% because he wasn't passing anything. Last week, he wasn't passing anything. And I think he got a tush-push touchdown, I believe. That's it. Like, that's all he got. And this defense is going to be a problem for the Eagles, like I said earlier. Jalen Hurts, I think, doesn't surpass 10 points again. I don't love starting him this week. If you have somebody with a better matchup, that's who I'm playing over him. Like, no questions asked. I'm not starting Jalen Hurts this week. And the last sit. Unfortunately, Mark Andrews. Still my guy. I still believe in him this year, but you gotta sit him. It looks like he's obviously having another slow start. I hate it. It sucks. But you got to bench him if you can until he finds his rhythm. He gets back into his game. Whatever it is he's got to do that he did last year, he does again and picks it back up and gets back into the good graces of the offense. I'm not sure what it is. I know he had a big drop. Was it against the Bills? I believe that he shouldn't have had. I think there might be some stuff going on there, but I still believe in him. I don't think it's over, but I would sit him this week. If you have somebody else like Fannin or Ertz or someone you can start, I would do that. If not, maybe go grab Jatavian Sanders or Dalton Schultz, somebody off the waivers that will give you more than like a point. You know, if you can get 5 or 6 points, that's probably better than you would get out of Mark this week. So that's who I'm going with. And just really quickly, I wanted to also toss in a defense real fast that I like, and it's probably kind of obvious. It's Seattle against New Orleans. If you've got them, play them. If you can get them, go get them and play them. That Saints offense it's not amazing yet. They're still working out the kinks. Seattle is clearly a good defense. They've been shutting teams down. I don't think anyone's scored more than 17 points against them yet. So yeah, against the lesser defense offense that they've played already this year, this should be a pretty good game for them. I see a few turnovers and maybe even a touchdown. I don't think the Saints are getting a ton of yards on them. So yeah, big test for Rattler this week. But yeah, that will do it for the start sits this week. Thank you for anyone who's tuned in, anyone who's asked questions. I love it. Please ask more. Like again, I said, reiterate, comments down below. Ask me questions. Ask me questions before your games. I will answer them. On Twitter too. Like I said, I'm gonna put the link down below so you guys can go. If you want to follow me, follow me. If you don't. This isn't a ploy to get follows. You can just hop in there, ask me some questions. I'll answer them if I can. If I don't get to you, don't think I'm ignoring you, because if you don't follow me, sometimes I don't get the notification. I'll try to look. I'm gonna set up. Maybe I'll set a tweet up for questions for start sits after I get done doing this video. So if you could go find it and see it and reply to it, then I can click on it and look at my replies in case I don't see them. But anyway, enough is enough. Enough of that. Good luck this week. Hopefully you guys can win your matchups. Hopefully I can help you with this start sit. Again, ask me any questions you want. And yeah, I will be back next week. Thank you very much. Good luck this week. Stay hydrated and behave.